Hey everybody, welcome back to the Breath of Fire 3 walkthrough. We are on the, I don't even know how to say this right, Eignok Road, something like that, and I did poke my head in here, and there's a little bit of dialogue that I did in the last video, and then I'm just gonna head over to this house with the built-in windmill. I guess I never really noticed that before. I guess this is Windia, so that's probably appropriate, or Windaya. I'm not sure how to say it right. I'm not exactly the master of correct pronunciation, especially in these games. But anyways, so right as you step into that house, you hear Nina scream, and you're gonna wanna come in here and steal these old people's clothes, because that's what we do. Heroes steal old people's clothes. Another little visitor. Interesting. So it looks like they were not the first children to visit. And obviously we have Balio and Sunder again. Those two they're just everywhere you want to be. Got it all figured out. So the horse trio once again abducts the hero. Did I say trio? I think I said trio. It's definitely only a duo. All right. So here's Fall's pub. I did mention Fall in the last video, I think it was the last one. But he eventually becomes a master. Not right away. It'll be a little while yet. But you know, he's okay. Actually, I shouldn't even say that. He's probably my least favorite of all the masters. Because of his massive agility hit, which I've also discussed in other videos. So hopefully you've been watching and thus will know exactly what I mean. I guess if you don't, it's probably self-explanatory from what I just said. But I believe Fall has I want to say it's a -3. -3 hit to agility. So again, in my priorities are actually agility is probably the top, or at the top of my priority list as far as this game goes. I try to avoid any agility hits if at all possible. I'm just trying to scroll here to find Fall. Here he is. Agility -3, intelligence -3. So yeah, that is a huge hit. HP +4, power 1, and defense 3. So, if you need a little more health, a little more, tiny bit more power, and a bunch of defense, he's your guy. But again, not my cup of tea with the agility -3. Not a big fan of that at all. But here we're trying to escape, and Fall is so drunk that he more or less lets you walk right on by. He doesn't even know what's going on. All right. Can't go back inside, which I did. Obviously, I tried to do. I believe, I don't know how many actual items there are in this town. I want to say there's the flyer, which I don't know if that's actually considered an item or if that's a like a regular item that goes to your regular inventory, or if that's like a key item, or what. Actually, I don't know the name of the key items in this game. Guess I can find out here in a minute. But yeah, and I believe there's maybe it's some cash inside the inn. Don't quote me on that. Well, we're about to find out, but I believe those are the only two like searchable. I don't know, things that you can get out of the drawers and whatnot. I just cruised around looking for, anything hidden. And this guy is kind of cool because he mentions the contest. So you get people from all over the place. And that is actually, the Contest of Champions is pretty fun. It's kind of a nice little, or a neat little event. There you go. So there's the 80 zenny out of the inn. And again, the last item will be the flyer, which is actually pretty useful here too, because the flyer gives you a discount in this town from the Manilo-looking merchants, the fish guys, I guess. I don't know what else to really call them. So that's why you can actually save yourself some money. I believe there's maybe one weapon, maybe two, that you can get from Windia, but not here. You can't get the Claymore here though, so unfortunately you can't save yourself a ton of money. And the Scramasax, oh, let's say that right, but that you can get in a treasure chest in a while too, so I would not recommend buying that. But there are a couple other items in this playthrough. I didn't have the money and I didn't do things quite right, so my other playthrough I ended up having just a ton of extra cash for this shop, so I bought everything. I had everything I needed. Yeah, I only had nine different weapons at this point, and that was not enough. Like I said in a couple other videos, those silver knives sell for a lot of money and they're really easy to get. I just sold off some other random stuff that I didn't feel like I needed that much. But again, those silver knives, if you're low on cash or you need it, those would be the items to sell off if you've got any extra ones. But hopefully I looked at that merchant again, but like I said, so the Scramasax, you don't need to buy that here. You'll get another one in a treasure chest a little bit later. I guess the broadsword, if you don't have it, you can buy here. I believe that is in Windia as well. But again, you can save yourself some money. You actually get it at a discounted rate here as opposed to Windia. So you'll probably pay like maybe 200 zenny more in Windia if you decide to buy it there, as opposed to here. And there's a couple of little random areas actually that you can visit around this little arena. There's actually a fishing spot to the west if you want to do a little extra fishing while you're here. But I just skipped that. I just went right here. And I want to say in this playthrough, I ran from everything because I didn't want to level Nina anymore until I got a new master. Because she had learned all of Durando's abilities already. Yeah, so I mean it didn't really, I don't know if I would say it would have been a complete waste to keep leveling. I just decided not to. And luckily for the playthrough's sake, it makes the battles obviously a lot faster. Those nut archers, can be quite dangerous. They have a very high lucky strike rate, which is basically a critical hit, and they can really put the hurt on, especially at Nina. I mean, she's got such a small HP total at this point in the game, and again, I've decided not to level her at all, so she's even more weak than she would, probably normally be if you just decided to continue leveling her. But that's the price you pay if you want to, not level excessively without being under a master. The second time I went through this, actually, because again, no, this is the first time, after a year of not playing that I went through this, and then I ended up resetting or completely making a new save once I got to Momo's Tower, because I was not happy that I was short on weapons. So I don't know if I would recommend that to anybody. It's not really a make or break type of situation, but for the sake of the playthrough and the guide, that is how I just decided to redo it, just to kind of show you what you can do if you really stay on top of things. And I feel like I did some interesting things with this. I should say with the playthrough that I did after this one. So, and I'll definitely get into that as. Actually, it'll probably be another maybe couple videos, maybe 2-3 videos where I finally get back to. I should say when I get to the new, call it the new playthrough. There's Double Blow from the Nut Troop, if you haven't learned that yet. Again, I am not a big fan of that ability. For one, I went the major route with the main character. For two, it misses so often, and so it oftentimes just ends up not paying off. You'll end up using AP and not getting good damage out of it. So there's the buckler. If you want a little higher defense at the cost of 1 agility, by all means, equip the buckler. Apparently on this playthrough I did. I know on my second one I did not. I tried to keep my agility up as high as I possibly could, which was okay. I feel like one thing in this particular game that if you're over leveled, you can kind of get away with that stuff because your base stats will be higher just because you've leveled. You'll have a higher HP total. You'll have actually better defense stats. You'll have better agility, and so on and so forth. So you can kind of get away with not wearing some of the heavier armor to bring up your defense, and then thus you will have more agility for more extra turns. So, really up to you on how you decide to set yourself up. But that's kind of how I went about doing it. There are particular or specific cases here and there where I will equip some heavier armor just because I know I can't get those extra turns that I wanted anyway. So I just decided to, equip some heavier duty armor and try to take a little bit less damage. So here we've got Mason, I believe is his name. Yep, that's it. And this guy's a scumbag too. There's I remember the first time I played this, but I was not feeling very confident in any of the adults in this game. They really, you run into just a lot of really crummy people. So, I don't know if it's a bit fishy, just the way he talks, and if it isn't fishy, I don't know what to say. Anyway, excuse me. But there's obviously some connection between this guy and Mason, so. Or, yeah, possibly he just, he knows that Balio and Sunder are, criminals, and they'll probably pay to get what they want, so. So yeah, so here we find out that Mason has more or less sold us out. Mr. Mason, please open the door. And here we have Sunder, and that's obviously kind of where you haven't realized already that there's some foul play going on. Now you do. So we have to get the lift to work so that we can get away. So here, excuse me, you're going to want to put Nina at the head of the party, I believe. Oh, maybe you actually don't have to. Yeah, no, you just interact with the panel. And Nina says that she tells the main character to get in the lift. Okay, well, so I don't know, maybe Mason's not such a bad dude. He just doesn't want any trouble. He's probably afraid of Balio and Sunder. Although, he didn't have to tell them that they had the kids here. So I don't know. I think I'm gonna still go for calling him a scumbag. And then the hero just smokes Sunder as he's trying to get to the princess. So Nina's magic got the lift moving. Yeah. Nice catch. A lot of people don't care for Nina so much. I don't know. She's fine to me. The first time I ever played, I know I built her heavy mage. I'm gonna guess I went right under Migas as soon as I can. Unfortunately, and if you've been, if you've played before, there is a huge period of the game where you cannot get back to Migas. Obviously, we're kind of smack dab in the middle of it. So, I decided to build a little bit differently, or quite a bit differently, in this particular playthrough. I went heavy agility on her, and it's been working out so far. She's actually kind of become. She's my thief for the moment. Just the one, you know, and once we actually get to Delonzo, I guess I'll touch a little more on that. The orc here has that skill right there called Last Resort. That is a learnable enemy skill, which I believe takes all of your defense and adds it to your attack. Which reminds me, I should really give that a shot again, because I've come to a particular area, and I've been stealing protein, which is the item that gives you defense, and I've got just a ton on the main character, so I'll have to try that out here. We'll see if it works, you know, exactly the way I think it does. Again, you know, I've been trying to do a little more with the enemy skills in the game. I should say more than I normally have. A lot of the time, like I guess I'd say the first time I ever played was more my physical route, where I just kind of, you know, physically bullied my way through the entire game. And you can do that, you know, there's nothing wrong with that. It works, that's for sure. But, you know, when you do that, you definitely make yourself weaker in other areas. Specifically, you know, I've already talked about it before, but with a more physical based character, a lot of times that means that you're going to be taking hits to your AP total, which, you know, is okay for certain characters, but not so much on others. The main character specifically really comes to mind because it's definitely your most powerful tool. The dragon transformations take AP. There's the initial cost, and then there's a cost every turn. So, you know, if you don't have the resource to back yourself up, then you're not gonna be in that form for very long. So again, you know, I just decided to go with a little more AP based character. The good thing with that setup is not only do you end up with more AP, but you know, in the case of mastering under Migas, you end up with a lot more intelligence as well, which makes your heals stronger, and you know, any offensive spells that you have. So at the cost of maybe not, you know, hitting so hard with your physical attacks. You know, and then again, in my opinion, it was very much worth it. That, and you know, it's just kind of fun to play the game in a little different way than I normally do or have in the past. So Heater Thunder has finally caught up to us. I don't know how. I mean, that the switch on the lift is trashed, so I don't know how we got across, but I guess it's not really that important. That's life. Get used to it. Oh yeah. I definitely do. I don't know. I like Balio and Cinder. They, you know, not necessarily from a, you know, personality standpoint, but I like their dialogue, and you know, they're kind of that tough. You know, things don't always go the way you want, and you can't always get away with everything, and you know, that's kind of the way it is, you know, when you're a child in an adult world, and you know, so there's some lessons to be learned, I suppose. But obviously the main character turns into the dragon and breaks Nina's fall. Look at what's happened. I think that's the first time Nina sees, you know, short of if you've transformed in battle. You know, that would have been the first time that Nina's seen the character as a dragon. Someday I'll repay you. Well, she is the princess, so it probably wouldn't be too difficult to repay him. Or, if we're saying, like, eye for an eye, that means she's got to save his life, right? So, I mean, if it's not a monetary, repayment, and that's a little different story, I guess. But, again, if you haven't learned Last Resort, you can right there. That is not the last place you will face the orcs. But again, that is a decent spot right there. I guess I would recommend, if you're gonna try to learn it right there, go outside and save first, just in case you were to get yourself in some trouble. Would not be cool to have a game over there. And there's the reverse gene. Reverse gene is okay. I don't know that I used it all that much, but it does come in handy in a couple fights here. Basically what it does is it reverses the property of your dragon. So like if you use the flame gene and transform, normally you'd have like fire breath, fire claw, so on and so forth. But if you use the reverse gene, you will be an ice dragon instead, and have ice breath, ice claw. That not only that, but it also changes the properties. So like if you're attacked with a fire spell as the fire dragon, you're normally not going to take any damage. He'll just absorb all the damage, or just take 0, I should say. And when you use reverse, you will instead of taking damage from ice spells, you'll just take 0. That is it. That is it for this video. Like, comment, subscribe, whatever you want to do, but I hope you join me for more videos. Alright, thanks for watching.